Today, we're doing a full breakdown of our planet's latest health report. We're going to dive into the really critical diagnosis of our climate, all based on brand new data from the World Meteorological Organization. So, everything we're about to talk about, it all comes from this one official report. It was actually released just ahead of the COP30 climate summit, so this is the absolute latest data we have on where the planet stands. We've set this whole thing up like a planetary health checkup. First, we'll look at the diagnosis, the key vital signs. Then, we'll get into the response, what we're actually doing about it. And finally, we'll see what it all means, because we are at a serious crossroads. Okay, let's start with the diagnosis. We're going to zero in on the single most important indicator of our planet's health, the one vital sign that tells us more than anything else: its temperature. This is the number that really just jumps off the page of the report. For the first part of 2025, the global average temperature was 1.42 degrees Celsius higher than it was way back before the Industrial Revolution. And let's be super clear about what this means. This isn't just about the weather on a particular day. No, that number represents a long-term systemic warming of the entire planet. It's Earth's fever. Now, this isn't just some random fluke, some one-off spike. The report makes it crystal clear that this is part of an accelerating trend. We're actually living through the warmest decade in all of recorded history, and it's all being fueled by greenhouse gas concentrations that just keep hitting new, frankly, unwelcome records. When the planet runs a fever this high, the effects don't just stay in the atmosphere. They ripple out across the entire global system, from the deepest parts of the ocean to the tops of the highest mountains. So, you might be asking, where is all this extra heat actually going? Well, get this. Over 90% of the energy that's being trapped by all those greenhouse gases is being soaked up by our oceans. They're basically acting as the planet's primary heat sink. But here's the thing. That absorption, it's not a free service. It comes at a huge cost. As the oceans heat up, we're seeing vital ecosystems like coral reefs just degrade, marine biodiversity is plummeting, and all that stored energy, it's fueling stronger and more destructive tropical storms. The report also shows what this means for our coastlines. The rate of sea level rise, which is driven by both melting ice and the simple fact that warmer water expands, has now literally doubled since we first started measuring it with satellites. Doubled. At the very same time, the world's giant frozen reservoirs are in steady decline. For the third year in a row, glaciers all around the world lost a significant amount of mass, which just confirms that this is a truly planet-wide phenomenon. So with all that strain on the planet, it begs the question, what are we doing about it? And that brings us to the other, really critical side of this WMO report. It's not just a diagnosis of the problem, it also measures our response. All right, let's pivot to that response. Because while those vital signs are definitely alarming, the report isn't all bad news. It also points to some major progress in two key areas, what we call mitigation and adaptation. Remember how we started the diagnosis with that one stark number? Well, here's an equally powerful number for the response side of the equation: 4,448 gigawatts. So what is that massive number? That's our total global capacity for renewable energy, and it saw just incredible growth last year. This is our primary tool for mitigation. It's the most direct counterattack we have against rising greenhouse gas emissions. And it's not just about energy. Look at adaptation. The progress here is honestly just as striking. The number of countries that have systems in place to warn their citizens about climate dangers, things like floods and major storms, has more than doubled in less than a decade. This is about saving lives, right here, right now. So when you pull back and look at the whole picture, what this report is really showing us is a story of two powerful competing forces. It's almost like a tug-of-war for the planet's future, and it's happening in real time. And the report literally puts it all on the table for us, side by side. Think of it like a ledger. On one side, you've got these record-breaking signs of damage. The highest temperatures we've ever seen, sea level rise that's speeding up, and just unprecedented greenhouse gas levels. But on the other side, you have record-breaking signs of action, historic growth in renewables, and a rapid expansion of life-saving warning systems. And that leaves us right here, at this profound crossroads. The data is undeniable. The race is on. We are watching a planetary system breaking down at the exact same moment that we're seeing a human system scaling up its response like never before. So the WMO's data leaves us with this one final, absolutely vital question. Which of these powerful trends is going to win?